And we move on to the Qigong. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And sink down low. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. And we're going to start off with the La Sal, the waving hands that we did last class. So remember, each time your hand passes your leg, you bounce and flick the hands back. So when it goes up, the hands flick up. When it goes back, hands flick back. And breathing in as you come up, breathing out as you go back. And all through the nose. Same thing, but go high. And shake it out. Neck stretch up. Down. Stretch it up. And down. Right side. Switch. Switch. And switch. Neck rotations. Other way. Hands up. clenching the fist. Wrist rotations in. Out. Shoulder rotation forward. Back. And slap the kidneys. Chest for the heart and lungs. And center, tailbone, and right beneath the belly button for the digestive organs. Hips. Try not to let your head move too much with this one. You want to try your best to keep it in a centralized location and just rotate your hips around that location. Other way. And separate the feet. Hands down, grab the ball waist turning. Inhale when you're up, exhale when you're down. And out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Other way. Breathing in. Out. In. Out. In. And out. Shake it out. Feet together. Knee rotation. Other way. And separate the feet a little bit. Inside circles with the knees. Outside. And ankle rotations. If you need to grab onto something, grab onto something. We're just going to rotate your ankles in. I always found it interesting that most times people don't ever warm up their ankles. So here we are. Other way. And I'm just doing little circles. And switch sides. Other way. And back to center. Slap the left side. Switch. Legs. Lower back. And stomach washing. And top of the head. And more of the hands. Massage the face. Forehead. Eyes. Nose. Mouth. Neck. Thyroid. Kidneys. And shake it out. 8 brocade Qigong. Number 1, holding up the sky. And also a quick note. So when I'm breathing, I tend to overdo it for the sake of like audibility, if that makes sense, so that you can hear it better. But the reality is, you don't necessarily have to hear your breathing so long as it's done properly. You don't have to hear the. It should be gentle. So it shouldn't necessarily be audible. Now, I do it loud because I was trained to do it that way for the sake of teaching, and because honestly, at this point, it's just become a force of habit. But I do it that way for the sake of teaching so that students can hear it better. It's not how it's done. So with the Qigong, breathe in as gently as possible, still focusing on that expanding of the diaphragm. All right, number 1. Breathing in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. And out. Very good. Number 2, pulling the bow and shooting the arrow. Remember to keep the eye focused on that nail as it goes out and as it comes in. So today I'm going to rise and sink, mainly because I have socks on. All right. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. All right. Number 3, pressing up and down. Remember with this one to try and get that arc so you get the stretch on the side that's up. The side that's down, there's a little bit of a compression here. So this side is more tight. This side is being stretched. So the side that's down, just think down tight, up stretch. Number 3, pressing up and down. Breathe in. Out. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And closing, breathe in. Out. Number 4, looking back. Remember to open the eyes wide as you look back. And breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. The closing, breathe in. Out. And shake it out. Number 5, wagging the tail. With this one, so I've been told, when you go down, you want to get this as flat as possible. I'm tired of these socks. Okay, so I'm not slipping and sliding. I explain better. So you want to try and get this as straight as possible. So your back should almost end up being flat like a tabletop. If you can't, then just go as low as you comfortably can. And there is a turn to it before you go down. It's not just moving in a circle. So turn a little bit, go down, and then this kind of straightens up. And then that same turn happens, and then you straighten out as you come back to center. So let's do it for real this time. And remember, the hands are right above the knee. There's some pressure points in there that correlate to your heart, which is what this exercise is for. All right. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Set, breathe in. And out. Shake it out. All right. Number 6, jolting back. So with this one, you're going to try and keep the point in between your shoulder blades warm. I don't know how to do that, but just try and use your visualizing, I guess. And more than that, focus more on getting the stretch that comes along with this exercise, because there's that stretch down. And normally I'll tell you not to play around with your positioning too much, but when you're in this position, you want to try and loosen up your neck as much as possible. So from time to time, when I'm practicing on my own, as I stretch down, I'll play around with it just to get the stretch here. And then as I go back, I don't really change anything, but just the stretch down, just to kind of loosen all that up. That to me is the most valuable part of that exercise, more than anything, for me personally. Number 6. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. Out. Number 7. Okay. So I don't know if I ever detailed the semantics behind the stance. So I'm going to do that. When you do your stance, it's not just a matter of going up and down. Because as you notice, if I just go down, my knees invert. You want to actively push your knees out, which is going to naturally create some discomfort back here and in here. That is normal. That's what's supposed to happen. There's a very big difference between doing this and doing this. You're going to feel the burn in the back. You're going to feel it on the inside. That's a good burn. That's going to really build the strength in the legs. That's the value of the horse stance. Now, beyond that, a lot of times I'll find students do this thing, which is funny because it mitigates the pain that you're supposed to be feeling here because this is augmented. You want to keep your hips forward while still pressing out with the knees, creating that tightness here and that in there. Now, with regard to what you're doing in the upper register, you want to try not to overdo the tension in the arms. Particularly men, they will, like squeeze their muscles or something, like really tense. There is some tension to it, but very light tension. Because you do want to build the strength in the arms, but you're not going to overdo it. This is a soft style Qigong. It's not for that. It's more of a, I guess you could call it an energetic release. As you go out, you're breathing and opening the eyes wide while in the stance. So let's get to it. Breathing in and out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And the closing, breathe in. Out. And shake it out. Next, we move on to number 8. Remember, drop the heels a little bit hard when you go down. And if this messes with your balance, you don't have to go up all the way. Just, it's fine. All right. And breathe in. Out. In. Out. Last one. Breathe in. And out. And now we get ready to do our sitting meditation. Grab a chair, or if you're comfortable, feel free to sit on the floor. And try again. We're going to try again to visualize the 24 postures. Remember, obviously, you have to find your own way to visualize it. What works best from my experience is to coordinate what I'm visualizing with the pattern of my breathing. That way there's some form of a retrieval cue, which will also help you to put it together when you practice the form by yourself. And begin. And open your eyes. Let's stretch. So remember, if you feel comfortable, you can do the stretches on the chair or on the floor. So I'm going to do the stretches on the floor today. Do I exist in the frame of the camera? I'll just put, nah, it's fine. I'll survive. Okay, so butterfly stretch. If you're on the floor, try to get your feet touching and your knees close to the ground. If you're on the chair, grab the foot and stretch it up. Now, for those of you on the chair, you're going to switch legs. Everybody on the floor, head down. And everybody right leg out. Stretch forward. If you're on the chair, you're going to do the same thing. Try to be active in your stretch and try to get your forehead as close to your knee as possible without bending it. And everybody switch sides. Feet together. Stretch forward. And shake it out. And do some stretches standing. You need the wall, grab the wall, quad stretch. Remember, try not to let your hips move from center. Keep them forward and keep the knees as close together as possible. And switch. Very good. And now we're going to work on our kicking. So just like in the form, we're going to practice that kick. Now, there are 3 different ways you can do this, and that's going to be your prerogative at this point. So I'm going to explain the 3 variations, and you pick and choose whatever's best for you. So first one is just kicking, just straight up, 1, 2, 3. Second variant would be just raising the leg if you don't feel comfortable going out. And the third variant would be the in-between. As opposed to just doing that or just doing that, you're going to raise your whole leg this way. Which, to be honest, in your own practice, I would do all 3 because they all affect in a different way. This definitely provides more of a stretch. This definitely activates the hip more, and this kind of gives everything a little bit of a pump. So how are we going to do it? We're going to alternate sides. So the circle, honestly, doesn't matter too much. You can literally just keep your hands out if you feel like it. If you want to do the circle because it's pretty, go for it. But it's really not that important. The kick is what's important. So go into left side first. 1. And then we switch sides. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. 5 more. Ready? 1. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. Very good. Now we move on to what would be our side kick. So this is how we're going to do it. Do I have space this way? Kind of, sort of. Okay. Like this one, 2 variants. So you're going to want a chair or a wall. I'm going to explain it both ways. So 2 ways you can do it. 1, 2, going out to the side, or you can just go up. Now, for me, I can go up high. If you can, go for it. If not, just go up halfway. Go up as high as you can. It's about building a gradual progress. Remember, I've been doing this for years, so I can kick up here after having done this for years. You can build that, but you got to start somewhere. So you can either just do this way or bending. Now keep in mind, this bottom foot, you want it to point to whatever you're holding. That way you can get the stretch here. So it'll operate this way. And if you're looking at it from this angle, it's going to be 1 or 2. So just like with the kick, they both work the body in different ways. At home, I recommend you practice both. For the sake of class, we're only going to do the one. So pick whichever one you want to try out now. And so I don't break anything. I'm going to do it this way. All right. And we're going to do both sides, 10 on each side. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and switch sides. We're going to come back to that one. But for now, switch and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and switch. Now we do it the other side again. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Switch sides. Last set. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Very good. Now let's move on to the 24 postures. Stay. Okay. So obviously my space is mitigated. So what are we ever to do? I'm going to have to kind of float in place. But we will get through this together. Okay. So I'm going to be facing the side. Does it work better this way? I don't know. I'll try this way and then just give me a thumbs up if it's good. Give me a thumbs down if it sucks. All right. And I'm not going to monologue, just going to go through it. And begin. And that's where we left off. Okay, so I know where we left off there. I want to say we left off with the newcomers somewhere over the rainbow. This thing. Okay, I remember now. I told you guys to figure out the other side. So let's go back to there. Where does that happen? Okay, so after the repulse monkey, grab the ball. So you brushed, you rolled down, you grasped that bird's tail and pressed, opened up, pressed down, push forward. Now, the other side is the same exact thing, literally just on the opposite side. So you flash back, you're going to shift the weight back, turn, letting the arms open up. And the foot, you can't see the foot. The foot is turning with it. So as I shift back, I open up. The left foot turns to the right. And then I come back to the cat stance on this end. Now, I'm going to do it going that way now. Stationary, so it should be okay. So let's take it from the first one. After the repulse monkey, grab the ball. And once you grab the ball, you brush, roll down, grasp the bird's tail, push forward, separate, press down, and push forward. Now, next movement. Turning to your right, shifting back. You flash back, turn, left leg. And as you retract, the waist keeps going. And then when you settle into your stance, everything comes back to center. And then it's just rinse and repeat on the opposite side. So you brush, roll down, push forward, separate, press down, and press forward. So, again, like I keep repeating, if you're there or you're behind all of that, that's okay. Everybody progresses at their own rate. Just make sure you have it solid before moving on. Don't feel comfortable moving on, that's perfectly okay. Stick with where you're at, get that down. All right, now, the rest of you. Single whip. And then the kick. Okay. How do I want to do this? I can do it this way. Okay, so we left off, let's say, that single whip, right? Let me move back more. So, stepped in, pat the horse's back, then left hand comes, you cross, open up, raise the right leg, kick. Then you put the foot down, hands draw back, and strike the ears. Now, from here, I actually have to do it. Okay. The right foot is the one that moves first. So you're gonna shift back, turn the right leg, flash back, then you raise the arms, and same exact kick, just on the opposite side. Now, the next movement is snake creeps down. I've seen it done so many times that I do it so many different ways. Let's see. It's the easiest way to explain that. So, you flashed back, you kicked. Now, you put the foot down, shift forward. The right hand is going to do a big circle. So it's going to come around. You're going to hook up, and the left hand is going to go down. And then from there, they switch positions. Left goes up, right comes down. So let's try it from the ear thing. Here, flash back, and rise up. Kick. Come forward. As you go down, right hand starts moving, goes up and around. Hook up top and sink down. And then rise up. Now, the variant to that, maybe I can go this way. Okay. Not so much for the sake of teaching, but for the sake of explaining. After that first kick, this is all, upper register. Now, this is done down here, but not everybody can do that. So the variant is to kind of, that looks funny, shift the weight in your stance. As opposed to sinking all the way down, you don't want to be here, you can't be here. So you're going to go into a middle, find that middle ground. You're going to shift back, shift down, and then just shift forward. So in a lot of ways, that kind of flows a little bit better. Honestly, I think it's just a mental thing. But because you don't have to go all the way down and all the way up, it flows a little bit easier. However, you do want to try to sink down to get the stretch. So, just try it again. So, shifting back, turning left, opening the hands, and rising up. Kick. Put the foot down, go forward. Right hand comes up. Hook. And sink down low. And rise up. So, hook is in the back. Regular palm is in the front. Now, is there anything else that I'm missing from there? Okay, so I've seen and I've done this, and it ends up being the same. So it's really just a different variant. There's a million. I've seen this form done a million different ways. I've been taught it a couple different ways. So if you're the person that likes to retract their arm, it's the same story. Just go straight back into the hook and then go up. The most important thing with regard to variance that should be somewhat standardized is the stance work, because that's your foundation, that's your strength. Done incorrectly could lead to some, I don't want to say injury. Well, it could, but you can mitigate your benefit if you don't do the stance properly. So that's the most important thing. The hands, that's semantics. This, in coordination with this, is the key. So keep that in mind as you practice, that, oh, maybe I learned wave hands like clouds one way. And sure, that's okay. Maybe you got used to practicing it that way, so it's hard to change it. That's fine. So long as this is solid, because that's your foundation. That's the important part. This is the strength. This means absolutely nothing without this. In the Chinese martial arts, our strength comes from the bottom up. Just like when we punch, or even this. This is what's delivering our strength. This pushing off with the leg is what makes this applicable and creates that sense of equilibrium. Everything moving together. Once this locks up, I know I'm done. I know my movement is in its final position, and then I can move on. So everything has to work together with the Tai Chi, regardless of if I do it like this or like this. However, just search for that sense of equilibrium. And yeah, practice. Stay safe, stay dry. I feel like I'm forgetting to say something. No, I don't think so. All right, so please practice for your own benefit. It's going to make you stronger. It's the only thing you need to worry about with the Tai Chi is improving yourself. So without further ado, let's close class, feet together, right fist, left palm, show courtesy. All right, thank you guys so much. Please enjoy the rest of your week. Practice, be safe, be healthy, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you.